Hey, what's up everybody? Enan here from Udroid Mania, and today I've got 4 cases that we're going to be taking a look at. They were sent out to me by Otterbox for review. We've got 2 for the Galaxy S8 and 2 for the Galaxy S8 Plus. So let's not waste any time and get right to it. First up, we'll start with the Commuter for the Galaxy S8 Plus. This is a 2-piece case with a synthetic rubber inner and a polycarbonate hardback outer. This case comes in multiple colors. It's pretty easy to install. In fact, the only trouble that you're going to have is around the port covers. And with the IP68 certification on this phone, I'm not even sure that we need those at this point. This case has a nice and snug fit, and it does work with tempered glass screen protectors. I just want to point that out right now. You'll see later on in the video that I do have the Elixir screen protector on one of my Galaxy S8 Pluses, in case you're wondering, so there's no issues there. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take the tour. And of course, we're starting from the bottom of the case. As you can see here, it's got the dust covers over the ports, and like I said, I'm not sure that we even need these at this point, and it does make it a little bit more difficult to get to the ports, so just keep that in mind. When it comes to the side of this case, you'll notice that it does have a nice grippy feeling to it, so you're not going to be worried about the phone falling out of your hand. When it comes to the buttons, there's hardly any resistance here. They've got a nice press. Up top, it's fully protected, and there's not going to be any access to your SIM tray, just in case you're wondering. On the right-hand side, you've got a perfectly placed power button. On the back of the case, the camera, flash, heart rate monitor are all protected, with guidance to the fingerprint scanner. And along the bottom of the case, you've got some Otterbox branding. This case has decent-sized bezels here, so you've got plenty of lay-on-the-table support. Lastly, like I mentioned, you're not going to have any issues in terms of fit with screen protectors, but in terms of functionality, that's a whole nother story. Moving on, we've got the Otterbox Symmetry, and this is a 1-piece case that also comes in multiple colors, including black and clear. It's got a thinner profile than the Commuter and no port cover, so I really like that. This case has a thin and sleek profile, along with a nice and light feeling in the hand. The install is also much easier, as you can see here. If you're interested in protection as well as a bit of style, then keep watching because this may be the case for you. Along the bottom, it's got accurate and precise cutouts with extra protection in the corners. And I gotta say, I really like the buttons on this case. They're not metal, but they almost feel like there's not even a case here. And check out the top of this case, and then imagine the all-black version. It's nice, right? On the right-hand side, you've got some Otterbox branding right next to the power button. I like that. On the back of the case, everything is good. And again, you have that guidance to the fingerprint scanner. And these days, that's becoming a must. And lastly, you'll find Otterbox etched into the bottom of the case. I'll end this portion of the review by saying that the Symmetry case also works with a tempered glass screen protector. I've got the links for both of these cases down below if you're interested, so go and check them out. Next up, we've got 2 more cases, and this time they're for the Galaxy S8. We'll be starting with the Strata. We've got a 1-piece case that's made from 2 materials, leather and polycarbonate. This case also comes in multiple colors, and it's a wallet style, as you can see here. When it comes to installation, it's the easiest out of the bunch. The phone just snaps right in. Just make sure that if you do put a card in here, you keep the stripe facing to the right so that it doesn't get impacted by the magnet. Also, there's no kickstand support here. Along the bottom of the case, you've got full and easy access to your ports, whether the case is opened or closed, so that's not going to be an issue here. On the left-hand side, when it comes to the buttons, I'll say that I did find them to be a little bit stiff, but this is a brand new case, so I expect that these will break in over time. Up top, you'll find that it's also fully protected here. On the right-hand side, I can say that I found the power button to be the easiest to press out of all of them, but really there's no major issues when it comes to the buttons in this case. One of the great things about this case is that it's got a strong magnetic clasp, which means that you're not going to have to worry about the cover flapping at any time, and that's a good thing. I really like that. On the back of the case, my only wish here was that there was a little bit more guidance to get to the fingerprint scanner, but otherwise everything else is in order. The last thing that I'll point out is that in the hand, this case feels really good. You definitely know that it's leather, and your phone feels protected without a doubt. The link is down below if you're interested, so go and check it out. And with that, let's move on to our last case, the Otterbox Defender. This case is the bulkiest of all that we're going to look at, but it's also the most protective today. If you're familiar with this case, you know that there's 3 pieces here. There's a 360 swivel belt clip. The outer portion of the case is made from a synthetic rubber, and the inner frame is made from a hard polycarbonate. When it comes to the installation, this case is also the most difficult to install. Although I was able to install my phone with a tempered glass screen protector without taking the case apart, I don't suggest that you do that. You'll probably want to go through the steps I'm showing here. So go ahead and remove the rubber outer and then separate the polycarbonate frame. Once I have that done, I place the phone into the top portion of the frame, and then I press the two pieces back together and reinstall the synthetic rubber. And here's our first look at the case. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a closer look. Of course, we start from the bottom here, and as you'll notice, like I said, this case does add quite a bit of bulk. You'll also find the port covers here, so again, that's something that you'll want to keep in mind if you're going for this case. On the left-hand side, there's plenty of grip, so you're not going to have to worry about dropping this phone. And if you do, Otterbox has got you covered. In terms of the buttons, they're very clicky and responsive, maybe even more so than you might think given the size of this case. Up top, we've got more of the same. There's plenty of protection here. On the right-hand side, I'll point out that even if you have a screen protector here, you're not going to have any issues getting to the edge display. But along the same lines, I'm noticing here that there is the potential for dust and dirt to collect between the protector and the case itself. And if you're curious to know which screen protector I'm using here, just ask me in the comments below because that's for another review video. On the back of the case, you'll find a nice spacious cutout for the camera and flash, and we've got guidance here to the fingerprint scanner, which I've talked about earlier, so that's a good thing. Lastly, you may want to know that each of these cases support wireless charging, as well as you're not going to have any issues in terms of Wi-Fi or cellular connectivity. I've got all the links down below for both devices if you're interested, so go and check them out. Okay, so there you guys have it. You guys have been requesting Otterbox on the channel since I started my tempered glass reviews, and they're finally here. I think these are the 4 main cases that are made by Otterbox for both devices. In terms of the Defender, if you're thinking about getting that case, just note that the screen protector is not included with that case anymore. I've read online a couple of reviews and some people are not very happy about that. Rest assured that it does have support for tempered glass screen protectors. You can pair it with one, but that is an extra cost. If you go with a protector that fits like Elixir, you shouldn't have any problems installing it. Just note that in terms of functionality, it may not be the same. Otterbox has become a go-to brand for many of us, and we know what to expect for their cases, and that includes pricing as well. If you have any questions or want to know more about this case, hit me up in the comments below. And if you're new to the channel, now is your time to go ahead and click that subscribe button for more content like this. Welcome to the channel. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in my next one.